How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be showing off some of the most brain dead and easy broken spells in the entire game. Some say that if you're caught using these spells in PvP, you most likely have the IQ level of a dried up ravioli smashed into the side of a curb. So before we get into the rest of this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel since only a very small percentage of you who watch these videos are actually subscribed. And if you don't, I will find you and make you cream your pants. Okay, so yeah, I want to reiterate that if you're one of these people who are going to be using these spells purely for PvP because they grant you easy wins, then you're definitely bad at the game, and that's why you're using these crutches to win, because without, you would be a little boy running in terror from everyone else because you're hogwash at the video game. Then again, at the same moment, you spent your $70 to $80 on this game, so I guess you can play the game however you want. If you don't want to improve, then do your thing, I guess. Okay, anyways, we are going to start off strong with the most annoying and broken spell in the game, that one being Blessed Reflections. This is that spell you get from Pieta that spawns in two little light angel looking dudes to either slam their swords down in front of them, or even shoot a laser beam at the target if they are at range. And let me tell you that this spell hits like if you gave a gorilla a metal pipe and asked them to shatter your skull in a single swing. This spell is absolutely no joke because it will literally three-shot bosses, as you see in the background here, with absolute ease. It's insane. Like, how did they let this through? So funny enough, just yesterday there was a huge update for this game and they made it so that this spell now costs more mana to use, which is an awesome change, but that's still not going to fix the number of problems that make this spell extremely powerful. So first off, the damage of this spell is ridiculous. It one-shots practically every mob in the game and then 1 to 3 shots most of the bosses. In PvP, the most broken part about it is that laser that they use whenever they are at range. The second the host uses this, they automatically win. That's how broken this thing is. Let me go ahead and enlighten you a bit about what's so insanely broken about it. So the range attack has infinite range to it, so no, you can't outrun it. And it even goes through walls. Just locking onto an enemy and pressing this button to use this skill means it's physically impossible for a player to avoid it. On top of the desync between the host's 0 ping connection and then your possible 200 plus, if not more, ping connection, the chances of you dodging this is very, very low. And then of course the tracking on this spell, it cannot miss. It's an instant projectile that ignores everything just to make sure that you die. This spell needs to either be nerfed severely or make it unusable the second a player invades. Make it like blacked out whenever you're being invaded because this spell literally is an auto win button. Now to go over probably the second most broken spell, honestly even potentially tied with the first because this spell, it's just as brain dead, but at least it can be countered. So that spell is called Lucent Beam. Another radiant spell that just shoots a continuous beam of light directly at your opponent, and this spell is godly in PvE. It shreds bosses in mere seconds and regular mobs will die in milliseconds. It's just so insanely broken. It barely even uses up any mana a second, spamming this spell that you can run through the entire area and kill literally everyone in that area ever before needing to recover any of your mana with any mana stones. Bosses are clearly no match for this thing, as honestly in just one hold down of the button, you could probably take out 2 to 3 bosses if they were all lined up next to each other, just standing there. You would go from 1, 2, and 3 just from an entire mana bar holding down and kill each and every single one of them. This thing is absolutely insane. Whenever it comes to PvP, you literally hold it down and watch your opponent's health bar fall faster than your grandma fell down a flight of stairs. And then of course this spell cannot miss when in range, so players trying to roll spam around you, or if you're fighting someone super laggy, you can fight that lag with this spell and destroying them before they even get a chance to heal. The way to beat this spell is actually just run backwards, as it does have limited range, and then use long range spells or weapons against them to outspace them and kill them before they even get a chance to laser you down. And only for that reason that this spell isn't the most broken is purely because it can actually be countered, unlike the last spell. The next spell is yet again another Radiant spell. I think you're starting to see a theme here with how powerful Radiant spells are, so devs, please nerf. Anyways, this next spell is called Orius Judgment, and basically this is like if you wanted to be Zeus, if Zeus was a 2-year-old who only knew how to press a single button and then clap like a gargling, spit-ridden baby, happy whenever they finally win. Essentially, this spell just continuously calls down lightning strikes following an enemy you lock onto, and even after the enemy dies, it will then go to the next closest enemy, killing them too, so clearing out mobs is basically brain dead, and same goes for boss killing. You can just keep spamming this move so that it comes down a million strikes at once as you walk away, and the boss just slowly dies without you doing hardly anything. That's how stupid this spell is. It's super cool, but spells shouldn't just be press, run away, then win. And then of course for PvP it's basically the same deal. You spam this and then your opponent only has the option to run away. They can't fight you in this because if they try and stand still for 1 millisecond to swing their weapon, this spell will already chunk them for half of their health bar. It's absolutely stupid. Literally your only two options are either to run away until it stops, or to pull out a one-shot spell and just kill them as they're casting it. So basically a lose-lose, boring kind of situation. Alright, let's move away from the Radiant spells and move on to some Infernal spells, shall we? Starting off, we are going to be going over Cataclysm. This spell is for you Swedish people out there who like to hurl giant flaming meatballs at people and watch them burn as you laugh over their corpse. So basically, yeah, it shoots down a bunch of meteors that do some of the highest amount of damage in the game. You will literally 1 to 2 shot bosses. It's no joke how much damage this spell is capable of outputting. Now, I wouldn't suggest using this on everyday mobs as they already take only like 2 swings of a weapon to actually kill them, but using this whenever you come across a larger enemy and using this spell will make those enemies non-existent. It's kind of a joke how powerful this spell is. I will say the tracking on this spell is kind of god-awful, so sometimes it's better to free aim it, which is fair, or else this spell would kind of be brain dead broken, but as of right now it's only broken. As for PvP, this spell will just easily one-shot anyone. But the downside is you have to actually hit them, so timing this spell is very important. One of the best ways of using it is actually free aiming it, especially at your feet, as players will roll into you and then get blown up by the meteors as they think it will just fly over their heads. This spell can definitely be hard to hit at times, but whenever you get it off, it is very satisfying. It may not be as brain dead and just press to win type of spell, thank God, but since it has the capabilities of easily one-shotting players, it definitely earned a spot on this list. The final spell we'll be going over is called Severing Blades. This spell is the attack you get from the Light Reaper, where you take out 2 blades and swing them horizontally in front of you and send out a wave of fire that deals a pretty decent amount of damage, but the biggest plus for this spell is the fact that it's spammable. Whenever it comes to mob clearing, this spell is really good. It doesn't one-shot endgame mobs, but it's enough to hit them with a basic attack after to finish them off. And since the spell is extremely spammable, it is easy to clear out those tougher, bigger enemies you find throughout the game. It's stupidly busted for boss clearing also. Since it hardly has any mana cost to it, you can essentially just spam the living hell out of this spell, melting bosses' health bars no problem. When it comes to PvP though, this is sadly where these spells shines the most. If you use this spell normally, it is great for mix-ups. You can use it at the end of your combos, allowing you to extend an extra hit, throwing off your opponent and catching them off guard. Or even start your combo with severing blades and then go in for a basic attack, since your opponent might not know that you can follow up an attack after it, and once again, you will be able to catch them with their pants down and get off some decent damage. Or you want to just be a toxic asshole who can't fight, then you're able to just spam this like crazy, and most people won't even be able to avoid it as they panic roll, since it just comes out insanely fast. The only time you should do that though is if someone else is doing something toxic to you first. You know, play with a little bit of honor. But I really hope that the devs of this game see this video and nerf all of these spells into the ground. At least for PvP, because man, whenever you come up against any of these, it just ruins the fun for everyone. But we know how players are nowadays. Win at all costs, because why get better and improve at a game whenever you can just cheese your way to victory and never have to get better. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think about these spells? Should they be nerfed into the ground like I said, or do you think they're pretty much good as is? And is there any other spells that I missed out on that should have been mentioned in this video as broken? But I'm heading out now, guys, so enjoy the rest of your day and have a good one. Peace.